Hi everyone, it's Tricia. Thank you so much for joining me here. The following is an excerpt from a Facebook Live event, so I hope you enjoy it. Have been going. I felt that it would be good to do a quick little follow-up to the class I did the other day on Wednesday. A follow-up to the all of the thoughts about being a highly sensitive person or an empath. Someone asked about, they said, I've been doing all these different kinds of techniques to shield, clear, and cut cords and all that kind of stuff, and still feeling, the overwhelm. And so did I suggest anything else? And as I was reading the comment, it's right there in the stream, I was just hearing very loudly that the best shielding technique, and I use the quotation marks because shielding is a resistant word. Shielding is defensive and shielding is victim oriented. It's identifying with being a victim because we have to shield something because we are being assaulted. And so I use it in quotation marks because I actually want to pivot away from it. So understand that, as I say, the best shielding technique we can use is to raise our vibration, raising our vibration, our personal vibration, raising that frequency so that it is more identified with love, God. Love is the only thing that is the creative force. Anything that is not, love is all that actually exists. Where love isn't, there is just non-existence. And we have that duality so that we can experience love even more greatly. That is how creation came about. But raising our vibration is the only thing we really need to be focusing on. And so we raise our vibration in myriad ways. But the basic way that we do that is by going to the source. And that is the source of you. The source of you is also the source of the universe. It is the creative source. Being able to build that connection. And that connection, again, source is just love. So identifying with love. So as the class the other day, it isn't that these techniques for, cutting cords or taking conscious showers and all this kind of stuff, it's not that those are wrong, but this is the example that I want you to understand. And a lot of you are parents, so you understand this when we have to teach our children how to clean themselves, how to bathe, and they don't understand that. And so we actually have to kind of force it on them. We have to ritualize it for them. We have to force it on them. And the child might come to the parent and say, why do I have to take a bath again today? I just took one yesterday. And the parent says to the child, well, look, child, you have to clean your skin every day. You have to keep your, because it's hygienic. And the child says, what does that mean? Well, because if we don't clean ourselves, then we could get sick. And the child says, well, why would we get sick? And the parent says, because out in the world, we come across bacteria and diseases and germs and whatnot. And so if we don't keep our skin clean, then we could become sick. And the child could take that information and misconstrue it and think, oh, well, the world is dangerous then. Germs are scary. Germs are, you know what I mean? And the child could actually take that to an extreme and become obsessive compulsive. But as adults, we understand that that's just very baseline. Bathing is baseline. We don't even think about bathing anymore. We just do it. Do you even think about when you take a shower, how you take a shower and all that kind of stuff? Do we hold classes about taking showers? No, because it's very baseline, a very baseline activity that is a part of us being physically hygienic. And so this is what the class, when we're talking about these different things about return to sender and cutting cords and everything, that is bathing. It's very baseline. And it isn't because the world is so dangerous. If you were able to raise your vibration, you would never create those cords. If your vibration were higher, then you wouldn't be absorbing someone else's energy to the point where you identified with it. So it's very important that I want you all to, while you may be in the stage where you do need to ritualize something and understand cutting cords and return to sender and whatnot, that is just you. And this is not to diminish it, because I'm not saying any of you are here, but it is for you to understand. It is teaching a child to take a bath. and it's something that you will do unconsciously. It'll just, or subconsciously, I should say. It'll something that you'll just do naturally. But when you are in the place where you're responding to the world in overwhelm, when you're responding to the outside world and all of the energies that are out there, and you're identifying with low vibrational energies and dark or negative or however you want to say it, when you're identifying with them, then you're in a victimized state. So then when you have this overwhelm, this is you identifying with what would be your empathic abilities should be a strength and an ability. You're identifying and you're using them in inversion so that they are actually you feel disempowered, and you're identifying as though you're a victim of the dangerous big black world. And I understand this. This is what I come from. The very first step that I did when I learned about my abilities, because they weren't abilities at first, because I hadn't been using them. I didn't have my awareness placed upon them. And so these rituals were how I had to start. And these rituals, I'm talking about these different techniques of cutting cords and return to center and all that kind of stuff. But all those things are practices to help you to identify back to the self, to your power, not to your disempowerment, to your power. It's to bring your energy back in and to keep your energy filled. Because here's the thing, once we let our energy out, so when we give our energy away or we let something into our, which we, by the way, are in agreement with, anytime we have a lower or negative energy that enters our field, that enters our frequency in any way, we agree to it. This is actually, we talk about dominion, Crystal teaches dominion, but what goes hand in hand with, or another perspective to that, is the fact that you cannot possibly have anything in your experience unless you are a frequency match to it. We know this. We all understand the very basics of the law of attraction. That is the very basic of it, but actually it is extremely advanced. It is the all. It is the greatest lesson we can understand. If we are not a frequency match to something, even if it is like that example I gave in the class of your best friend breaking up with someone, if you are not a frequency match to it, then you will not identify with it. Now, here's the light part of it though. When I gave the example of the unaware empath who might experience her best friend's heartbreak while she was breaking up with her boyfriend and think that there's something wrong with her own relationship, just as an example. But the aware empathic person using as an ability may pick that up and say, well, that's interesting. I'm really aware of my own space. So you're so identified with your truth that you sense it, and then you understand how to use it as a strength. You don't identify with it. And this isn't coming at you like a victim. You are agreeing to. You're saying, yes, I'll take some heartbreak. Yes, I'll take some war in Syria. Yes, I will take some animals who are not being treated correctly. Yes, I will take some children who are not properly treated. Yes, I will take on how the politics and people are harming one another. Yes, 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 I want that energy. We have to agree to that in order to feel it. And this doesn't mean that we would become irresponsible parts of the human race if we aren't aware of what's going on around us, but we do need to be aware primarily of our own strength first, because that strength, that inner strength first, that inner being strength is your connection to God. It is the God presence in you. It is your light, and we're all here light workers. So I just needed to give you that adjustment, that if we're talking about hygiene here, the very baseline, I mean, the physical, the way we understand our physicality is an exact mirror of how we understand our spirituality. So bathing is so baseline to us being physically healthy that we never think of it. Probably the primary things we think about on the physical side is diet and activity. And so we have that reflected in the spiritual realm too. What we're consuming spiritually and what we're giving out spiritually. So what we're consuming spiritually is what we read, what we watch, how we fellowship. And I don't mean just like in the Lightworkers Lab, I mean with people out there, regular people in the world. Our vibration will actually help us to align with people who are higher vibration. And if we come into alignment with someone who is, let's say, lower vibration, we can still maintain our high vibration because the strongest vibration always wins. And then that person will benefit by it, and that is doing the work of light. And so it is important. So that would be like your That would be your diet. And then your activity, your exercise on the spiritual side would be doing that, would be expressing, would be giving out, would be talking, would be moving around in the world, would be treating yourself, would be how you talk to yourself and how you move about in your own experience, spiritually speaking. And actually, we even understand on the physical side that it's not just diet and exercise, it's actually who we are as we consume and as we act. If we were to go against what our physical body would want us to do, and we ran marathons, but we don't have the knees to do that. I mean, that's telling us that that's not the exercise, that's not the activity for us. But if we overrode it out of fear because we believed that that was just the thing to do for whatever reason, whatever we decided to tell ourselves, then we would actually harm ourselves and we would take ourselves out of the world. And so it's all about, again, who we are, how we approach it, how we're approaching whatever we do. Are we approaching it in fear or are we approaching it in love? And so then to the point of being a sensitive physical being or a sensitive emotional and spiritual being, you're meant to have that because you are here to do work. So love is the highest vibration, right? So you're sensitive to energies. Great. So you're empathic and you're sensitive to energies. Love is the highest energy. It is the highest vibrating energy. It is the one that is the most obvious. So you came down with extra sensitivity for primarily so you can remember where love is. That's the main reason. And so always be seeking love. Always be looking for love. So if you're being called, you're like, I'm supposed to go to my friend's birthday party. If you feel like you don't want to go to the birthday party, you want to ask why. You need to lean in to yourself. You need to feel into your own self and ask, why am I not wanting to go to the birthday party? If I'm not wanting to go to the birthday party because you need to ask, this is a question, where is the love in me going to the birthday party or not? Is there love in me going to the birthday party because I will show love to my friend, Jessie, whose birthday party it is? Or is there love in me staying home and being with my family and my animals and reading my book, watching whatever it is? Where is the stronger love vibration? And do that, and then you can ask if I'm doing something out of love or fear. And if you feel that it's fear, then just look for the love. So if you feel that it's fear, would be I am not going to Jessie's party, but she's going to be mad at me. I'll go anyway. Well, then that's just happening completely out of fear. Or I feel like I should go to Jessie's party, but I'm afraid, or I want to go to Jessie's party, but I'm afraid it's going to be loud, and I'm afraid I'm going to be uncomfortable with the environment. Well, that's fear-based as well. So then if you pick that up, then just release that fear. Don't pay any more attention to that fear, and just ask, where is the love? Where's the love in the situation? And then if you find love in both going or not going, say, where's more love? That's it. Where's more love? And then just trust when you make that decision, because who you are when you make a decision far outweighs the actual decision. What you choose doesn't matter nearly as much as who you are when you choose it, if you are oriented to love. And when you are oriented to love, the outcome is assured. So if you stay home from Jessie's birthday party because of the love that is there and it is much greater than going, then that will be the perfect outcome. And you need to release any of the fear elements that you had about it. You need to release that, she might be mad at me, because it will come through because you counseled love. If you say, okay, well, I love Jessie and I really want to see Jessie, and so I'm going to her party, then you release the fear of your sensitivities, and then you get to go forward and you get to experience some kind of miracle. Who knows what that miracle is? Maybe it's the quietest party you've ever been to, or maybe it's the loudest party you've ever been to, and you have fun anyway, and you are going in faith, and you are held up, and you're always held up. I think that's the end of the redirect. So again, just know that these little things, this should be step one. I'll tell you also, I don't ever think about return to sender anymore. I don't ever think about cutting cords anymore. When I showed you the selenite tool thing, the only reason I do that after a reading is it's a ritualized thing to remind myself to take my nose out of the business of my client. So to bring my energy back in and to refocus here. That's really what it is. It has nothing really to do with cutting cords. It's to help me, and I don't even do that all the time, but I do it takes just a brief moment for me to make sure I pivot and adjust back to the channel is closed, the session is closed with this individual, and now I am here in my space because they need their business and I need my business, because that's how we operate in the world, because otherwise I'm going to be giving my energy away and it doesn't help them anyway. All I'm doing is weakening myself. So I don't even think about those little rituals that I told you before. They are not even step one. They're taking a bath. They're telling your children to take a bath every day. They're meant to be, they're just something that gets you to the step of being healthy. And it isn't that, just to restate this, your sensitivities are not a weakness. When you have things, when you're feeling overwhelmed, or you're having something like physical responses, whether you're sick or something like that because of your exposure. I know autoimmune came up. I can't remember if it was this last class or the one before, and I was shown it was the response to the overwhelm of being a sensitive person. It isn't the sensitivity, and it isn't the world. It is your response to it. It is your understanding of it. It is your belief in I must give away my energy. I'm not able to vibrate higher. It's your response to it. And so the adjustment is to calibrating to the higher vibration, to raising your personal frequency to identify with your God essence, that you are a creator, that you are composed of love, to re-identifying to that, and then just setting that intention and then just expecting that outcome. That is exactly what faith is. Setting an intention, very gentle, expecting that outcome. Expecting that the outcome is going to be just love, that you are oriented to love. That is the combination, and right in between those two things is faith. That space is faith. That is, in faith, as Jesus said, you could call mountains to be cast into the sea. And he wasn't being hyperbolic. That's actually possible. That's possible, okay? And that's the end of it. All right, so y'all have been doing a few comments here, and I can't see it because of the glare. But anyway, this was really just a quick message as a redirect. Please do let me know if you have any questions here. And if I was in any way misleading when I was talking about those, I apologize. I meant to let you guys know that these are built. This is a very basic building block to when you identify how your general functionality is, so that later, as you do raise your vibration, and then you may sometime, it's like peeling an onion. You're like, oh, that I'm being codependent, I'm being that subtle energetic codependent again. I am functioning as the empath who is not functioning in the higher function. You can catch it, and then you don't pay any more attention to it. Take your nose out of the fear and just look for the love. Always look for the love. Where's the love? All right, I love y'all.